told you that all the guitar in that loop could be learned and played within just a few weeks or months. What's good? It's Bino Beats, and I'm a Billboard producer from Toronto, Canada, and I've worked with artists like Polo G, NBA Youngboy, Rod Wave, and Scory. In this video, I'm going to break down and share with you guys my framework for making a guitar loop 100% from scratch, or just any loop in general. When you start approaching loops this way, you'll be way quicker, you'll make more emotion and loops that are catchier, and you'll also make loops that get placed. I'm going to showcase two methods for making loops from scratch. Before we jump into the first method, let me break down some vocabulary that I'm going to use in this video. The bass line. These are the lowest notes of the chords in the chord progression of your loop. They really carry the feeling and the emotion of the loop. Chords. This is when you take the notes of the bass line and build them into full chords. You can get super creative with it, and there's an endless amount of chords you can make, but the basic ones often involve the root note, the fifth, and then the major, minor third of each chord. Arpeggios. Arpeggios is when you take the notes of a chord and play them in succession in a simple pattern. In terms of how I'm going to be using that term in this video, I want you guys to think of an arpeggio as a super simple, repetitive melody played over and over again. Lead melodies. They often go hand in hand with the chord progression and are often played higher up on the guitar so they stand out within the context of the loop. You want to make them catchy, but not too complex, or else it's going to be impossible to rap over. Accents. These are another melodic layer you can add, but they're a lot more processed and tucked in the background compared to a lead. At the same time, they can still add a little bit of extra texture and character to your loops. All right, without further ado, let's get into method one. Method one is starting with a simple repetitive arpeggio. This might seem a bit counterintuitive because you might think I have to start off with a chord progression. The thing that makes a really good melody is it's repetitive, and then the chord progression is changing underneath, and the combination of the two makes it really emotional. So a good way to start is getting that super repetitive melody that's the core foundation of the loop right off the start. All right, so in terms of what makes a good arpeggio, like I've already said before, you want it to be simple and repetitive. You also want to make sure that it is a good constant rhythm because it's going to keep the rhythm and pace of the loop. On top of that, it plays a big role in deciding the kind of direction you want to take the loop. Is it going to be a happy loop? Is it going to be a sad loop? So a great way to pick some arpeggios is go to a minor pentatonic scale. Let's say I'm in the key of B minor. I got the B right here, and then I got the minor pentatonic scale. An arpeggio that I love to use is just going between these two notes here. Even as simple as this, back and forth. You could even add a third note, so I could do something like this. Interestingly enough, that third note is just the octave of the lower note. So, or for example, I could change it to a different note. So I'm going to move this note to here, and then I'm going to play this note here. So then I can do something like this. So a great way, if you want to make it more of a sad sounding loop, is you add the seventh note in the key. So right now here, the note I've been playing a lot is the 1 in the key. If I go down 1, I get to the 7th. So you can see, even if I take that same progression I was playing before and just switch this one to this, it sounds super sad and emotional. You could even do it down here, and I kind of like to do this little thing where I do a bit of a slide. So I go. And the last thing I said is that this really carries the rhythm of the loop. So it's great to make it not too complex. Those really I've just been playing for the most part are eighth notes. But what you can do is add a bit of syncopation. So it's not just playing at the same tempo every time, and it's hitting on more of the and beats. So you could do stuff like this. And I could even add a bit of character. I could add some palm muting. Or I could add some hammer-ons. There's endless possibilities. I actually just dropped a crazy phrase kit that has tons of arpeggios ready to go just like that. It's called String Theory Elements. So to create this loop, I'm actually gonna pick one of the ones from it. I wanna go with something on the acoustic guitar. So I'll go acoustic, arpeggio layers, and then there's tons here. So let me just go through until I find one I like. The beautiful thing about starting with a really good arpeggio is you don't need to add full chords around it. If anything, sometimes less is more, and you could literally just add the bass notes of the chord progression. All right, so this arpeggio is in C minor. So I'm gonna find the C note on the guitar. It's right here. And since this is a minor key, I wanna kind of create this shape. So I wanna go to C, that would be the 6th chord, go down 2, that's the 5th chord, then down another 2, and that's the 4th chord. If I go to the middle one and then go one up, that's just the 1 chord in the progression. And these 4 notes are the foundation of so many pop songs. All right, so here's some basic chord progressions I can play. A really good sad one in a lot of music is 6, 5, 4. Super basic, you're hearing a lot of stuff. Or I could go the other way. I could go 4, 5, 6, 5, or one of my favorites, 4, 6, 5, 4. Really powerful one that's common in a lot of pop music is this. 6, 4, 1, 5. Another super common one in a lot of pop music is starting with the 1 and doing this. 1, 5, 6, 4. Another thing you can do is add passing notes. So like I said, these are the 4 notes you want to stick to a lot. You can add the 3. This is an awesome one, really great for emotional stuff. By itself, it sounds kind of off. There's a lot of tension. Another one is the 7th. So go to the 1 and then go 1 down. So this one is in a lot of 2C songs. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. So there's the resolution at the end. The 3 is one of my favorites, and I use it as a passing note a lot. 4, 1, 5, 3, 4, 1, 5, 6, 5. And that kind of hinted at the last thing I want to show you guys is you can add little runs. So I kind of did that little 6, 5 at the end there. But a great one you can do is you can start at the 1 and kind of descend. So you go 1, 7, 6, 5. Or you do the other way. You go 5, 6, 1, 7. All right, for the chord progression that I'm going to do the 4, 5, 6, and then I'm also going to use the 3 as a passing note. The great thing for these emotional types of loops is really just only adding the major minor third of each chord. So this is where you need to know a little bit more music theory, because you need to know for these bass notes in the given scale that they're in this case C minor, do they translate into a minor or major chord? Because then depending on that, you'll either add a major or minor third to each of them. So in this example, this one is a major, major, minor, and then the third is a minor as well. So I know that if it's a major, what I do is I go up 2 strings and up 1. So it would be major, major, and then a minor is instead of going up 1, you just go right above here. So in the case of the minor up here, it would be this. And then the minor down here would be. Another direction you could take it is instead of doing major, minor, third, is you just do power chords. So a power chord is you just take the 5th. And that is literally just going up 1 string and over to the left 2. If you don't have a guitar yourself but want to get this sound, what you can actually do is you can go into string theory elements, and in every single major and minor key, I have all the basic 7 chords as the root and the major minor third of each chord. So for example, if I want to do on the acoustic guitar, I'd go individual chords, root and third, and it's C minor, and I want to pick the 4, 5, 6, and the 3. So if I take those and put them in the right order, here's what that sounds like. next step is to add another melodic layer. I'm going to do this by either adding another simple arpeggio or some simple strumming over top. The key here is I don't want to overcomplicate the loop, but I just want to build it out a little bit. But I can also use this as an opportunity to add a bit of harmony and syncopation. So something playing at a slightly different rhythm than the current arpeggio and playing different notes. I'm going to go into strumming layers under acoustic and find one that I like. That sounds fire. All right, the next step is adding the lead. The lead can often be the hardest part to play in the loop, but you don't need to have a super complex and hard to play lead for it to be a good loop. So let me show you as simple I can get. So if I want to get more complex, here's what I can make it sound like. Even though I could have even added way more melodic information, done licks the entire time, I still spaced out the melody and made it super simple. Because the big thing with the melody is you want to make it something that is easy to rap over and leave space for the rapper. On top of that, I also had a common element, that started off every single kind of line of the lick. And because of that, there's repetition and it's not too complex to rap over. The last step, which is really optional, is adding some extra accents and sauce. A great thing that I love to add is reverse guitars. It's part of my signature sound, and I have tons of those phrases already in Elements, so I'm going to try and drop some in. That sounds sick. All right, that then brings us to method 2, and this would be the more conventional one, and that is to start with a chord progression. So for this one, I want to start with an electric chord progression, and I'm going to try and find something from Elements. All right, the next step, you probably guessed it, adding arpeggio to fill out the loop. Similar to before, if I really want to, I can add another arpeggio just to fill out the loop a little bit. I like this one because there's a lot of rhythm to it and it's kind of staccato. Sounds kind of sick, actually. All right, next one, you guessed it, adding a lead. Now, similar to the last one, I'm going to add in some accents and sauce to the loop. All right, I want to add a bass to fill this out a little bit, so I'm actually going to go into the one shots and pick one. This loop is already so full, but honestly, just to show you guys, I am going to add a piano and vocal to it just to take it over the top. this loop. Alright guys, I hope you really liked this video. A couple key takeaways. One is that the harder something is to play or the more complex it is, does not mean it sounds better. Often the best sounding music and the music that gets placements is the simplest. Secondly, when you think of making loops through this layering approach, it makes loops that you thought were impossible to make easy because they're just broken down by individual layers that are easy to play. Lastly, think about what defines you as a producer. There's a lot of different things. People have their go-to chord progressions. People have their go-to sounds. People have their go-to arpeggios. People have their go-to licks. There's so many ways to inject character and personality into your sound, so really start thinking about what is your style and what are your go-to elements in your music. And if you guys are interested in getting string theory elements, the link will be in the description. Like I said, it's a crazy guitar phrase kit that essentially allows you to create a guitar loop 100% from scratch without even needing a guitar. Or if you play guitar, it can also just speed up your workflow so much. I've been using this kit in pretty much every loop I've made so far this year. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.